Hi, I'm Jaylena, and this is my 2006 T1N Sprinter van. It's a 3500 and it's a dually. We're going to give you a tour. I just built it out and we'll start on the outside. So we'll start right here at the door. I installed this window myself. This is from Van Windows Direct, and it was, I believe, like $500 for a kit that came with everything you needed, the adhesive and stuff like that. And I love this window. It's actually really easy to install windows on these T1Ns because they typically, you just cut around the marks that's already there and then you just insert the window. It's actually really easy. And what I love about this is that it opens. I really wanted that for airflow because this is the only window on the van aside from the front cab area. So moving on, we have my diesel heater exhaust right here. The diesel heater is inside. I'll show you guys that later in the passenger seat. And the tank is actually in the back, so I could just open my back doors and get fuel that way. We also have our shore power port here, so I can plug into shore power and charge my batteries. And then other than that, we have two Rec Pro fans in the ceiling, and I have one big 250 watt mega panel from Rich Solar on top. So I did do an upgrade on the stereo system inside, which I'll show you guys, but that also included a backup camera that I installed right here. And this van actually did come with the hitch, which is nice. I don't know if that I'll ever really, actually I have used it before, so that's nice to have. Like I said, this is a 3500 and I think it tows like over 7,000 pounds. Sorry, my bad. It's not 7,000 pounds, it's 6,500 pounds. So don't get mad and come at me. I just wanted to clarify. So before we head inside, I want to show you my garage. This van actually came with two key fobs, which is really convenient, but they don't always work the best. I might need a new battery. Anyways. So this is my garage area. I did cedar paneling on the back doors. My goal for that was to kind of continue the ceiling and then do a waterfall effect. It doesn't have like a great effect in that waterfall sense, but it is what it is. So back here is where I have my whole electrical system. I have one 200 amp hour battery from Dakota Lithium. I have a 1500 watt inverter from Dakota Lithium. My battery charger is also Dakota Lithium that is connected to the shore power. I have a 50 amp DC to DC charger from Renogy as well with an MPPT charge controller. So I have my outdoor rug that I just shoved back there. I have a paddle board back here. I have these two really cool storage bins from IceCo that both pull out. I have that one locked, but it locks and the drawers pull out. And this is my second refrigerator. So I have two refrigerators and I want to talk to you about that. So inside I'll show you my other fridge. It's just a smaller like stand-up fridge. It doesn't have a ton of room in it, so I wanted to have a backup fridge because I have a daughter. And if I'm on the road, I would really like to be able to have enough food fully stocked that I don't have to go to the store all the time because, you know, traveling with a toddler, you just want to make your life a little bit easier. And I just want to have like everything that I want to have on hand and not have to worry about taking so many trips to the store. This gives me the ability to have extra food storage, and my other fridge doesn't have a freezer. This is actually a new fridge from IceCo. That is a dual fridge freezer combo. This is the APL 35. It's obviously very sleek, which I really liked. As soon as I saw this fridge, I knew that I wanted it. This just flows. It's really nice. I love that. It's all aluminum, durable, and it's also super light. It only weighs 32 pounds given that it's empty. So that will change and vary, but it's super easy to carry around. It's got these handles on each side, which makes that easy if you want to just unplug it when it's cool, use it as a cooler when you go to the lake or something, and then I just put it back and I can have my fridge out in the wild or just right here in my garage. So this actually has a SECOP nano compressor. It's energy efficient. It goes from -4 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. And this also has a lid stay design, so you can open it and it'll stay open at any angle. And you can also download the app and use Bluetooth to control it. So like if you're not in it and you wanted to change it, you could. This happens to be a little bit too close to the bed to open underneath the bed, but I can open it. But like I said, this has our freezer compartment here, so I can have ice cream or frozen snacks, and then there's so much room in here for extra food storage, which is very, very convenient. I kind of want one of my waters right now. So, and then I just slide this back here. I have it connected to a 12-volt plug that I just kind of rigged up, and the cord is loose so that I can, if I want to, and I have before, I can take it out, take it to the lake, and you can take it anywhere. It's kind of like a really nice, convenient cooler that also acts as a fridge. And then over here I have an emergency tire air compressor thing, and this is my diesel fuel tank. I actually am going to replace that with a 10-liter tank, or sorry, this is a 10-liter tank. I'm going to put a 15-liter tank in there at some point, hopefully. But that's basically the entire back area of the van. I also, just to kind of show you because you can't see it from the other side, I have these really cool slats from IKEA that made doing the floating bed super easy, and it was all less than $100. This is very much a budget build. I highly recommend this bed setup. Okay, so that's it for the garage. Let's move inside. So let's get to the bread and butter of this van tour. We'll start here at the entryway. This is a very popular discussion. People love to hate on this part of the build because I used real tile in my step area, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I do not regret it. It's held up great so far. I got a front door rug and I cut it to the shape of the step, and now I have a rug there. This passenger seat is on a swivel, so it can swivel around, and that gives you kind of like a couch and the swivel. I have a lagoon mount here with a table, and it gives it's like a lounge area, which is what I wanted. So because I have my daughter, I had to have a real seat in here. So I have a Ford Transit seat mounted to the frame of the van. She sits in the middle seat, which makes her in the safest spot in the van if something, God forbid, would ever happen. So I do keep a Jackery Explorer 1000. I think it's a V2 on hand just for extra power. Let's move into the kitchen. So this is my other fridge. As you can see, it's much smaller. It's a stand-up fridge, and there is no freezer. And then I have two drawers here. This is where I keep, pots and pans. So this is kind of like my miscellaneous drawer. I also have my stove in here. I'm sure some of you are wondering, how do I cook? There's no stove. I have this Maple Fire camping stove. You put your butane just in the back. And that's how I cook. Super easy, super simple. I didn't want anything crazy. I don't live in this full time. So there's that, and then it just goes in that drawer, and that's where it lives. Up top we have my food pantry. I'm about to leave for a trip, so it's pretty much empty in here. But this is where I keep all of my dry foods. And then we have our sink. I wanted a big deep sink because for my daughter to take a bath, I can just set her in here, and it's big enough for that. So underneath I have two 20-liter water jugs under here. The reason I did this water system is because I wanted something simple that was easy to access water from anywhere. So I could take these jugs into Walmart, which are everywhere, and refill them. I did a quick disconnect system, but these just unclick, and then you just click them back in, and your water system's super easy that way. Obviously I have them connected here. The sink is routed through the bottom of the van, and then I have this water pump system that is like an all-in-one water pump. It has a water filter and everything. It's a little bit pricey, but I highly recommend it. I would never do anything else. I did do a different water pump and had to replace it with this one. Should have just went with this one in the first place. But I turned the water pump on there, and then just turn it off when I'm done. It's pretty quiet. as you can see, as you can hear, and that is my kitchen. So I also did a live edge countertop. This is a 1-inch cedar slab that I sanded and epoxied, and I have an outlet on top for 110. That is what the Keurig is plugged into, so I have to turn my inverter on to use that one. But over on the other side of the Keurig, I have a USB and USB-C outlet that is 12 volt, and it has a button to turn it on and off, but that one's pretty much on all the time. So up here in this cabinet, this is basically, I was gonna put a closet here and wound up changing my mind. This houses all of like my toiletries and personal stuff, and then underneath here is pretty much where I keep all of my clothes and like extra things. So I have all these bins that I just use for storage. So there's clothes in there, there's electronics and all kinds of stuff in there. So I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of comments about this because people always ask if I'm going to put that like the edge banding on the plywood. I'm not. I actually really love this look. I think it's a really beautiful look. I think it gives it character, and I am not planning on covering it up. I do need to oil it though and seal it. That being said, this plywood is very expensive. This is 13 ply, and it's also very heavy. So it is beautiful, but it's, you know, a give and take. So for me, this is a 3500. This van can carry a lot of weight, so I was able to feel comfortable doing this particular plywood. And like I said, it's pricey. I only used 2 pieces of plywood to do all my cabinetry. In something small like this, it works and makes sense, but like if you were doing a big huge bus, I would not want to be using this plywood for that, because it can add up. So I did do cedar, thin cedar tongue and groove on the ceiling and on the back doors and on my overhead in the front. I absolutely love it. It smells amazing, and I'm really happy with the cedar look. And on the ceiling, I also, as you can see, I did track lights instead of puck lights. I just like the look of them. I wouldn't say one's better than the other. These do dim, so that's nice and convenient. And then like I said, I have 2 fans. I have one over the bed, and honestly, on those hot summer days, you'll be glad you put a fan over your bed, and you will be sad if you didn't put a fan over your bed. So that leads us to the bed. This is a full-size bed. I did have to cut it down so it would fit. Some people do like fake bump outs or real bump outs on their vans. That was not in the budget to do real bump outs, and not in the realm of doable when it came to doing the fake ones, just because I didn't frame this van. Everything's just attached to the metal. So I'm 5'8", and I can almost lay flat and straight, but who sleeps like that? Nobody. I've never had an issue. So it's not an issue for me personally. That's just my opinion. So for the walls, I did like a thin fake shiplap panel, and I did that from here up, so like halfway up. And then on the bottom, I did 1/2-inch plywood, just so I could have something to mount to, because all of my electrical is mounted to that, and you can't mount anything to this material. And then I also have that on the other side too, so that I could mount my diesel heater fuel tank. I have seen a lot of people do fabric on the parts of the metal that is exposed, and I loved that. I probably could have did a little bit of a cleaner job, but I'm very happy with how that came out. I did it on this side of the van around the door, and then I also did it in the back where the metal would have been exposed as well. So I had this big plouffe. It was way bigger than I thought it was going to be, but I used that to lounge on when this seat is faced the other way. And then I also have these blackout curtains for privacy. Underneath the passenger seat, like I mentioned earlier, is where I have my diesel heater and my diesel heater remote control. So when I got this van, it had a radio that didn't work, and I upgraded it by installing this Atutu. I don't know how you pronounce the brand, but this is also a backup camera. It has CarPlay. I really wanted this, and I'm glad that I was able to install that. I did it by myself. If I could do it, you could do it. So this is actually not my first rig. I started van life in 2020. I bought an old Dodge Ram conversion van for like $2,800. I built that out, and it was after my first like experience of winter van life, where I spent every single day for an entire week inside my van without coming outside, to the point when I finally did, my back doors were frozen shut and it was really hard to get them open, but I couldn't stand up. It was a really small van, and that's when I decided I want something I could stand up in, and I really wanted to buy like a Sprinter van or a ProMaster. Anytime I found a van, it would sell so fast that I couldn't even get to the dealership to go look at it because it would already be gone. And it just didn't look like that was going to be a route I was going to be able to take. So I wound up looking at school buses and box trucks, and I almost bought a box truck, and that sale fell through. And then I found my old bus, which was the Peach, and I bought that bus for like $3,200. I started to build it out, and then I wound up driving it across the country from Tennessee to Oregon to finish building it out. And after I had my daughter, me and her dad both had our own school buses, and we decided to sell those and build a big school bus to live in as a family. And we did do that, and then our daughter wound up getting really bad motion sickness, and we were just at a crossroads, and we decided to sell the bus and buy a house. I went back to like a normal car, and my heart was just longing for, you know, the dream. I had a dream, and I never really got to live it to its full extent. And so I wound up just following my heart, and it led me to this van. I was looking and looking and looking, and nothing was available. These particular vans are very pricey and hard to find with low miles. They're known to go 1,000,000 miles if you take good care of them. This van popped up one day, and I was the first person to reach out, and I was very adamant that I wanted to buy it, and he said a lot of other people were interested too, but he would hold it for me just because I was the first person to message him. And I wound up getting it, and he gave me an extra $1,000 off, and the rest fell into place. It was kind of like it was meant to be. I'm really grateful to finally have bought my dream van and built it out, and I'm hoping to enjoy it a lot this year, and maybe even do some full-time van life next year. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Oh, and I'm sure you're all wondering, where do you poop and pee? How are you going to take a shower while you're on the road? Well, I have this convenient little thing called the toilet. It just slides right underneath the bed right there. This is a Tralino toilet. It's really small, and it has the urine diverter with a little jug in there, and then the back part, which I just use as a trash can. So there's just toilet paper in there. So that's my toilet. That's my bathroom. And then I'm sure people are going to be asking, like, how do you plan on showering? Well, if you've actually ever lived in a vehicle, especially one without a shower, you know that what you do is called a baby wipe bath or a baby wipe shower. So you just wash yourself with baby wipes until you can find a shower at like a Planet Fitness or a gas station. I have a sink, and I have these things called wash rags, and that's how I plan to shower, is just, you know, wipe yourself down with soap and a wash rag. That's how I'm going to bathe Ember, with just a sink and a wash rag and some soap. It's not necessarily ideal, but if you're not on the road full time, especially if you don't have a kid, it's not that big of a deal. So another question I get all the time is, how do you make money while living on the road full time? There's so many ways that you can make money living on the road. You just got to find what works for you. I'm fortunate enough that I have had a YouTube channel for a long time. YouTube has been my full-time job for many, many years. It's not a ton of money, but my goal in life is to just make enough money that I can pay my bills and get by and enjoy my life. Van life doesn't come with a lot of utilities and bills, so that's why a lot of people choose this lifestyle. So just find what works for you, do some research, find what works for you. There's so much remote jobs out there, or, you know, people work for a few months and travel for a few months, or they work for a few days and travel for a few days. So just whatever works for you. So if you have any questions, if I missed anything, please just ask in the comment section down below and I will get back to you. Other than that, that is my van build. This van took me 6 months to build out. That was with a little bit of help here and there, especially with all the cabinetry. That was something I couldn't do by myself. Like I said, it's real heavy. I wasn't working on it every single day just because I have my daughter. It is nearly impossible. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure to subscribe if you want to see this van in action and on the road. Hopefully that'll be happening very soon. I will see you guys on the next video.